"We don't serve people like you here," the waitress said, glancing down at the old man's prosthetic leg. The aging veteran stood silently, his hand trembling on his wooden cane. The diner fell silent. A few patrons looked away. No one spoke up in his defense. And just 24 hours later, the first black SUV pulled up in front of Millie's diner, beginning a day no one saw coming. What do you think about this treatment? Type respect to stand up for those who sacrifice for our country. Ray Collins, 74, was a former Marine. He lost his left leg during a mission in Iraq in 2005. Since his discharge, he had lived alone in a rusty old trailer on the outskirts of town. Despite his age, every morning he walked nearly 2 miles to a small eatery called Millie's Diner. Not for the food, but for the routine and his seat by the window. On his way, he'd pick up trash around the park, help children right their fallen bicycles, deliver mail for elderly neighbors. Everyone appreciated Ray. That day, Ray entered the diner as usual, nodding a quiet greeting to a few familiar faces. But there was a new staff member, a cold-faced blonde woman. She looked him up and down, then frowned. "You can't sit here. We don't serve people like you." The diner went quiet. Ray spoke softly. "I just want some coffee." "Out, now," she said firmly. Not a single person reacted. He pulled a slightly crumpled dollar bill from his wallet, placed it on the table, bowed his head, and walked out. A snicker emerged from a table near the window. Ray merely furrowed his brow, saying nothing. The clouds had been gathering all morning, matching the darkness settling in his chest. He'd faced enemy fire without flinching. But this cut deeper. People forget so quickly, he thought, feeling the phantom pain in his missing leg intensify as it always did when he was upset. Outside, a group of teenagers on skateboards zipped past him, one nearly knocking him over. "Watch it, Grandpa," they called back, laughing. Ray steadied himself against a lamppost, breathing deeply. The town had changed, or perhaps it was always this way, and he had been too busy serving to notice. He glanced back at the diner window. Through the glass, life continued, people eating, laughing, checking their phones, a world he fought to protect, now denying him entry. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He never answered unknown numbers, but today he checked. No caller ID, just a text. "Report received, stand by." Ray pocketed the phone, puzzled. He hadn't reported anything to anyone. The sky rumbled with distant thunder as he began his long walk home, each step a reminder of what he'd given. His uniform was long gone, but the discipline remained. Head up, shoulders back, left, right, left. But tonight, for the first time in years, the old warrior's eyes glistened with something he wouldn't acknowledge. How can someone who sacrificed his body for his country be treated like an outsider? Type unfair if Ray's treatment breaks your heart. As Ray left the diner, a light drizzle began to fall. His old jacket gradually darkened with moisture. He sat down on a park bench nearby, taking a small notebook and an old pen from his pocket. Silently, he recorded what had just happened. The handwriting was shaky but neat. Millie's refused, no explanation. A young couple walked by, the wife whispering something. The husband turned to look at Ray, then hurried his wife along faster. Back at his trailer, he hung his coat on the hook, washed his hands, and stared at the photograph on the wall. It was a picture of his SEAL Special Forces team from years ago, his brothers in arms. On the table sat an ancient radio he still used to listen to the evening news and a worn leather-bound journal. The faded embossed text read, "Bravo team, always ready, always family." He didn't call anyone, didn't post anything online, just added a few lines to his journal. That evening he drank hot tea alone, his contemplative eyes gazing into the darkness through the window. The wind whistled through the door cracks like voices calling from the past. A stray cat he often fed in the evenings entered. Rubbing against his leg, he bent down to stroke it, whispering, "It's okay, buddy. Some people just forget." The rain intensified, drumming against the trailer roof. Ray turned on his old radio, letting the soft jazz fill the emptiness. The announcer's voice broke in. "And tomorrow marks the 15th anniversary of Operation Sandstone, where American forces..." Ray turned it off. Some memories didn't need reminding. He opened his journal again, flipping through pages filled with names, some with check marks, others with small crosses. His yearly ritual, checking on the families of those who didn't make it back. Tomorrow was Mrs. Henderson's turn. Her husband Tom had saved Ray's life before losing his own. Every year, Ray would anonymously leave flowers on Tom's grave and ensure Mrs. Henderson's yard was clean. Outside, teenagers drove by, music blaring. One shouted something unintelligible as they passed the trailer. Ray closed the curtains, but not before noticing a car parked across the street. Dark sedan, engine off. Just sitting there? He didn't think much of it. In his lifetime, he'd seen enough real threats to know what warranted concern. The stray cat jumped onto his lap as he settled into his chair. "Just you and me tonight, Captain," he said, giving the cat the nickname of his former commanding officer. In the dim light, Ray reached for the old rotary phone. His fingers hovered over the dial, then withdrew. No one to call, not anymore. The rain continued falling, washing away the day's humiliation, but not the memory of it. How can someone who gave part of himself for his country be treated as unwanted? Type unfair if Ray's treatment breaks your heart. The next morning, Millie's Diner opened at 6 a.m. By 6:15, a gleaming black SUV pulled into the parking lot. It was followed by two pickup trucks with Navy SEAL Brotherhood decals. The men who signed out had broad shoulders, resolute faces, and crew cuts. Their leader was Chief Marcus Hale, Ray's former commander, now CEO of a private security company. They entered the diner silently but with unmistakable presence. Every head turned. The blonde waitress from yesterday went pale. Chief Hale placed a medal and an old photograph on the table. Ray Collins, standing front and center of Bravo team. Bold caption, "He saved all of us." "This man came here yesterday. You turned him away," Chief said, his eyes fixed on the waitress. She stammered, "We didn't know. I didn't realize." "Now you do," Chief replied definitively. They ordered a full breakfast, from pancakes to bacon, and paid with the tip money Ray had left here over the past 5 years. Several customers stood up, approaching the SEAL group to express gratitude. An elderly man with teary eyes said, "He once rescued my grandson from a burning car on the outskirts of town." Another patron stepped forward. "Last winter, when the power was out for 3 days, he checked on everyone in my building, brought blankets, never said a word about it." The diner owner emerged from the back, visibly distressed. "I had no idea this happened. I was away yesterday." Chief Hale nodded. "Maybe know who works for you. That man's blood is on battlefields you will never see." A woman in the corner raised her hand timidly. "He's the one who puts flags on all the veterans' graves every Memorial Day, isn't he? Always before dawn, so nobody sees." "That's Ray," one of the SEALs confirmed. "Never wanted recognition." The waitress tried to explain. "His appearance was disheveled. I thought he was just some homeless." "He gave his leg so you could judge people freely," another SEAL cut in, his voice calm but penetrating. "Think about that privilege." After breakfast, the group prepared to leave. But before stepping out, Chief turned back and delivered a concise statement. "Heroes don't ask to be remembered, but we never forget." Outside, locals had gathered, news spreading like wildfire in the small town. Many looked ashamed, others confused. The SEALs climbed into their vehicles but didn't start the engines immediately. Chief Hale made a call. "Mission briefing complete, target location confirmed. Proceeding to phase 2. One of the younger SEALs asked, "Will he accept it, sir? You know how stubborn he is about charity." Chief smiled for the first time that morning. "It's not charity, son, it's back pay." As they drove away, the diner remained unusually quiet. The waitress's hands shook as she cleared their table, finding a business card under a plate. "When you're ready to learn what service really means, call us." The owner took down the "Help Wanted" sign from the window. On their way back, a young soldier from the group stopped, re-entered the diner, and approached the trembling waitress behind the counter. "Next time, ask who you're talking to." In a small trailer, Ray was sitting in his rocking chair, reviewing his journal entries. A small bicycle stopped outside. A little girl dismounted, holding a paper coffee cup. Mom said to thank you. I don't know why, but thank you, sir. Ray accepted the cup with a nod, his lips forming a slight smile. His eyes brightened, but he spoke not a word. That afternoon, the rumble of engines broke the usual silence around Ray's trailer. 3 vehicles pulled up. Men in familiar postures emerged. Chief Hale approached first. No salutes, no ceremony, just a firm embrace. "We've got a situation, Ray," he said. "Need your expertise." Ray glanced at his old journal, then at the men waiting outside. Brothers still. "Mission parameters?" he asked, voice stronger than it had been in years. "Rebuild. Restore. Remind," Chief answered. For the first time since yesterday, Ray Collins smiled fully. The camera lingers on the Bravo team photograph on the wall, then gradually shifts to the American flag fluttering outside the door. Final comment. Some never asked to be remembered.